Come in, Southern California. This is Radio Free Los Angeles. Do you copy? Repeat, do you copy?
Now broadcasting from behind the Iron Curtain in the People's Republic of California, we bring you the voice of free men, free markets, and limited constitutional government. Welcome to citizen-sponsored Radio Free Los Angeles, with the president of the California Tax Limitation Committee, Mike Alexander, and America's funniest reporter, Carl Kozlowski.
All right, great. Good evening to everyone.
Howdy.
We got Carl Kozlowski back. How are you, Carl?
I'm just fine. Back from the communist engagement at the Oscars last week.
Oh, yeah. Well, we had one good award there. Gary Oldman won the Best Actor award for his portrayal of Winston Churchill. The movie itself probably should have gotten a higher award, and I don't know which one got a Weird Water or something like
Shape
that.
of Water, pretty
Shape
good movie.
of Water,
it's all right,
all right.
but nothing to be offended by. But the Darkest Hour, it was up for Best Picture. That's the Gary Oldman one, and you can get it on video and all that stuff now. All the streaming things have it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I saw it on Apple there the other night. I highly recommend it to people, and it's a good stepping off place for anybody who wants to understand the history of the period, and also to have a better idea of how we have to cope with the various threats that confront us. And we've also got Jonathan Wilson here back with us. How you doing tonight, Jonathan?
Doing pretty good. We got a good show lined up tonight.
We do. Hey, if you read the tease, then you know what we have coming up. And by the way, if you two things, if you want to call us, you can reach us here at area code 866-870-5752. And if you want to go on our website and get signed up and give us some money, if this is citizen-sponsored radio, don't be afraid to put a few dollars out there. How do they sign up to get our notices here?
Well, go to radiofreelosangeles.net, and you can contribute there to the show, keep us on the air. Again, that's radiofreelosangeles.net. And I've just posted the live feed of our broadcast, so you can watch behind the scenes.
Oh.
And see what a handsome devil Carl is.
Yeah, really.
Oh, yeah.
I'll tell you what, yeah. Hope you left those noodles in the ready room there. Okay, so.
Yeah, no ramen noodles are visible at this moment.
Right, yeah. He's been a little bit under the weather. He slept in. He got here. He hadn't had anything to eat. So he hits that vending machine, and he cooks some noodles, and they blow up in there. And I couldn't believe you ate those.
And then spilled them all over your notes. So it's going to be a tasty show.
Are you all right?
I'm doing the best I can. I'll power through.
All right. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, the kinds of things that we talk about here are really ominous, and a lot of things we have to say can end up sounding like a bit of a rant, although these things deserve to be ranted at, believe me. So we try to break it up, have a little levity, enjoy ourselves. In the first half, we're going 90 minutes tonight. So for those of you who haven't been with us for a couple of weeks, we were 1 hour there for a while. We are now 1 hour and a half. So we go from 8 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. here at KRLA at our beautiful studios here in Glendale. Now I want to thank Sullivan for being our engineer here, as always, and all the great help, and thank Brooke, who is our call screener here. We're going to, in the first third of the program here tonight, and I think I'm going to do this a little bit for you in the future, is to try to go through some basic practical political theory that helps you to understand how politics really works, not only at the federal level, but at the all-important state and local level. After we go through all these things, you'll understand why we emphasize state and local issues. Because of the amount of money that they spend, and because of the number of employees, and because the state and local level is the delivery point for big government. A lot of big government falls into two categories, national defense, and then the rest of the transfer programs and the do-gooder programs. All of those programs are designed to reroute money back to the states and back to the local level. And the people who run our cities and our states, who are of a certain political bent and a very practical profit orientation, those are the people that agitate for the election of the people who will go to Washington to do this. But we have just as big of problems with our local legislatures called city councils, and of course our state legislature, the Assembly and the Senate, and of course the head idiot here in the state of California, the governor. It's hard to say who we're going to get, but I want to talk about how government actually operates in the first third of our show. In the second half hour tonight, we've got some great stuff about the city of Sierra Madre. Now, before you hit that button and go on to another program and start whining at me, what we're talking about Sierra Madre? Really? 3 square miles in the shadows of the San Gabriels, and we're going to talk about them. I'm going to listen to maybe opera on KUSC-FM. No, I want you to pay attention because what we're talking about in Sierra Madre applies to all of you, and we got a blockbuster story about how, having been threatened by the repeal of the utility users tax in Sierra Madre, and that was an initiative that we work with citizens to qualify out there. That goes on the ballot here in 4 short weeks. The mail-in ballots are dropping in the coming week, and that city, believe it or not, you're not going to believe this, they have a resolution that has been researched by their city attorney talking about disincorporation or unincorporation. In other words, shutting down the city. And what they're saying is, rather than cut back spending, rather than face their problems, if they lose $2.6 million, they are retaliating against the city, against their citizens, and they're going to shut down the city. Now, generally, shutting down government is a good thing, but not this way, not in this fashion. There's lots of other ways we can still have great cities. But we're going to talk about that at great length, and I know they're listening out there, all of you, so we're going to get to you. In the third part, that is the third half hour between 9 and 9:30, we are going to return to the subject of school choice, and I'm going to begin it by explaining to you giving you a little history about how the public schools came to be, what their purposes are, what the disadvantages are of the public so-called school system, and how it fits in with our society. I think you'll be shocked to learn what most people don't know, and that is public schools as we know them are only a little over 100 years old. A little over 100 years ago, they hardly existed. We'll talk about a couple of key authors and make a recommendation for some readings, and I think that after we finish talking with it, you will understand and agree with us that we need more true diversity in education. We need competition. We need variety. We need a lot of different approaches. What we don't need is government education, and we know government is to education as the DMV is to automobiles. You've got about the same level of efficiency, and for sure about the same attitude. And you get about as much done. It's designed to support them and generate revenue. So that's what we're going to do tonight. We've got a lot of different people who are going to be calling in tonight, we hope. So we hope that you will join us at 866-870-5752. Now, I promised to discuss a couple of things about current politics. Let me take something that appears to be irrelevant and unconnected to the state and local issues that we talk about. One of them is the sanctuary city movement, and the second is Jerry Brown's bullet train to nowhere, which there was a note here that they're about $7.7 billion into the project. It's all the costs have run on, and of course, no one's getting from anywhere. And of course, what started out as a bullet train from San Francisco to Los Angeles is now going from Fresno to Bakersfield or something like that. So
that's an exciting destination, I gotta say.
I know, man.
Leave it to Moonbeam.
Yeah, where's Cesar Chavez when we need him? You got to run up and down to Delano a lot faster. But when we come back, I'm going to explain it all to you and show you exactly how we do it. To 866-870-5752.
If you like what you're hearing and would like to support Radio Free Los Angeles and the California Tax Limitation Committee, please call area code 626-792-1772, 626-792-1772, or kindly visit our website, catlc.net, catlc.net. You can also watch Radio Free Los Angeles on Facebook Live at radiofreela.us.
If you'd like to talk with Radio Free Los Angeles, the phone lines are wide open. 866-870-KRLA. That's 866-870-5752. We're live, local, and here to talk with you. 866-870-KRLA.
All right. Mike Alexander back with you here with Carl Kozlowski.
Howdy.
And Jonathan Wilson. All right, now, you know that Jeff Sessions was out here. He's the Attorney General for the federal government. And he was out here, and he's going to file some kind of a lawsuit against these California outlaws, including most particularly Jerry Brown. And it's all over California's behavior, its contention that they can become part of the new Confederacy and resist federal law on the subject. And bear in mind that it was only a year or so ago that the left wing had run all the way to the California Supreme Court to have to the U.S. Supreme Court to have them tell Governor Brewer of Arizona that she had no business taking any action in regard to the immigration laws, and she should just do as she was told by the feds. When Obama was in office, that was fine. Well, now that Trump's in office, they don't want to abide by the federal supremacy clause in this area. I'm not going to go into the legalisms, but in any event, they've got a lawsuit going on out here. Now, let's try to understand what illegal immigration is all about. It's just two words: cash flow.
And voters.
No. Yeah,
Okay.
that's fine.
Sure.
That's fine. But first and foremost, it's about cash flow to the government class. Everything that they do is designed to make sure that more money flows to big government. So this is one of the reasons why they had this advertising going on down in Central America and a few other places where they were actually advertising for children, where parents were putting them on a train. The only train that works, apparently, is the one that took those kids from wherever they were in South America and Latin America and got them all the way to the California-Arizona border, where they were welcomed over. Okay, now, I know everybody that says the conventional wisdom is that this is about creating future Democrats. Well, certainly is. But first and foremost, it's about cash flow. And every child, you have to realize, represents at least $10,000 per year per child in school expenditures for the next 12 years. All right, so that child just sitting in that chair for 12 years is worth a minimum of $120,000 to their business. You got it?
Yeah.
All right, now, in addition to that, that child will generate welfare to their business. All right, you got to pay the kid money to eat, right? That money goes to his mother. Well, there's another part of the government business called the Welfare Bureau, or whatever the hell they call that these days, that takes money from the public, from tax money, and gives it to people who come here over the border. So because they're minors, the whole system calls for giving them more money. So now you've got welfare money. But, kids get sick. So now you've got to grant them and their mother, and maybe even their father, access to the Metascam system. All right? So now, do you have an idea of how much revenue that child represents? And so if you actually start obeying federal law, if the immigration laws are actually enforced, what you're going to have is a reduction to cash flow to the school system. You're going to have a reduction of cash flow into the court system. You're going to have less crime. So you're going to have fewer cops. You're going to have fewer prosecutions. So you're going to have fewer judges, fewer district attorneys, fewer public defenders. You got it? Yes, it's about the political future of the Democrat Party, but that's secondary. The purpose of the Democrat Party and large parts of the Republican Party and of the crony capitalists who support this whole apparatus, their job is to keep their business going. Now, I know it's very popular for a lot of conservatives out there to criticize government and say, no, government should be run like a business. I want you to write this down, all you conservatives. I want you to write it down. It is run like a business. Government is run like a business. It's just not your business, my friend. But they run their business. Their business is the most successful business in the entire United States. Their business soaks up over 50% of revenue, going from Washington to Sacramento, down, reaching right down into little ink spots like Sierra Madre. Their government, what they don't own, they regulate. They have an unrestricted right to tax. They don't pay taxes, number one. The people that they hire and pay are the best paid, pampered employees in the country, bar none. Oh, I know there's people in Silicon Valley and Wall Street that make it, but not everybody makes an average of $120,000 a year. They just don't in salary and benefits. That's not what we're looking for. So when you look at the fight on illegal immigration, you have to understand exactly what's going on is about preserving the government, about preserving their business. And when you look at the train to nowhere, then you will also understand and appreciate that it's not a boondoggle. It's a boondoggle to you and me, of course. The whole idea of that stupid train is an outrage and a boondoggle to you and me. But from their perspective, it is one of the most successful businesses that they've ever operated. They have leveraged up that revenue. Imagine if you had a contract with somebody, start off at $100,000, you found a way to grow that contract $1 million. Would you regard yourself as a success or a failure? Well, a success. And the fact that the other guy gave you the money, well, that's his problem, not yours. Your business is running just fine. And so I've got a few callers I'm going to get to, but I want to wrap up by adding two more points to Principia Politica. I've been talking about the first principles of government. For example, number one, the purpose of government is to grow itself. Number two, every public employee is a paid partisan political activist. And to that, I want to add number three to help you understand. And that is every business is operated for the sole and exclusive benefit of those who own and or control it. You got it? And that applies to government. Yes, I know that we're supposed to be the citizens. We, the people, own it. Well, if you believe that, then you need to go to drug therapy. You're just not understanding. You're failing here, and they're laughing at you. And the second thing that I want you to understand is that there is no such thing as a nonprofit organization. Now, I know all you accountant weenies out there saying, oh, well, of course there's nonprofits. We got them all around. A nonprofit is a tax concept. It is not an economic concept. And when you look at government, it is far from being a nonprofit entity. It is without a doubt the most profitable entity, the most profitable business that we have in the United States of America. Apple pales in comparison to it. Now, I'm going to take a couple of callers. The first one up here is Alan from Valley Village. We used to call it North Hollywood. He wants to talk to us about a canal proposal. So, Alan, go. Show me how this relates to what we're talking about. Are you there, Alan? Line 1, please.
Can you hear me?
Hey,
okay?
Now we got you, Alan. Fire away. Alan from Valley Village.
I hope you can hear me.
I can.
Okay. In frustration over the way California government functions, I wanted to suggest, a friend of mine who is favorable on the idea of the bullet train, which I disagree with, says that he heard Jerry Brown speak about the purpose was to reduce the density of the high population areas in California by spreading the traffic to, the less dense areas.
Right,
so I wanted to suggest perhaps we should also build a canal from Long Beach to Lancaster or something of that sort once the train is completed. And that'll allow people also to travel more readily and skip all the freeway traffic.
Well, we've heard a number of proposals there. I'm sure that, the fact is we haven't built a new freeway or any kind of new transportation for a long time. And the reason that we haven't done that is because it doesn't meet the requirements of the ideological objectives of so many people who are involved in making public policy. Did you ever think, those of you who are conservatives, did you ever think for a moment that we would look back on Pat Brown as the good old days when we actually built freeways here in California? It was amazing to think that Ronald Reagan successfully ran against Pat Brown and criticized him as a big spender. Boy, he paled in comparison to his son. Alan, I want to thank you for your input. And now I'm going to go to Carlos on line 2, who would like
Thank you very much.
Oh, you're welcome, Alan. He'd like to make a few comments about illegal immigration. Carlos, go.
Yes, good evening. Well, this whole issue of sanctuary cities and illegal immigration, it just frustrates me more and more. As you know, that sanctuary cities are going to enhance illegal immigration.
Yes.
It's the biggest gripe I have about illegal immigration is destroying American sovereignty, is destroying our American national identity, where we're diluting our culture.
Correct.
There's many things that illegal immigration is doing that are adverse to the best interests of the people of the United States. Compression of wages, because now we have to compete with all these people that are working out there, and some of them don't even have a Social Security, but they're being paid meager funds, and we have to compete with all these people, and consequently it forces a general compression of wages for the average American. But, when I hear, for instance, that they're finding more and more loopholes, more and more ways to bring people here and legalize them. For instance, when I hear that women are being allowed into the United States from many different countries, especially Latin countries, solely because they were abused by their husbands.
Right.
That really unnerves me. Women that are abused are now being allowed in here and given granted political asylum.
Right.
And the government is continually expanding ways and circumstances on which they're going to bring more and more people from foreign countries here.
Sure.
We cannot afford to bring the whole world here.
No, we can't.
You look at here in Los Angeles. I got nothing about people from different places, but I look at here at Torrance is full now of Hindu people who come here.
Oh yeah,
working as software engineers, making $30,000 a year, whereby the average American would earn $50,000, $60,000. They're brought deliberately from India to work here with compressed wages, and our American workers cannot compete with these people. This is just one example
Carlos,
of what I'm seeing here.
Carlos, I want to thank you for your comments. We're coming up on a break. But the major point here, you're exactly correct on everything you say, but the major problem with illegal immigration is that it is really made possible and grafted onto the modern welfare state, which is a real culprit. We'll be coming back here in just a few minutes. We have more callers. Call us, please, at 866-870-5752.
Come in, Southern California. This is Radio Free Los Angeles. Do you copy? Repeat, do you copy?
Now broadcasting from behind the Iron Curtain in the People's Republic of California, we bring you the voice of free men, free markets, and limited constitutional government. Welcome to citizen-sponsored Radio Free Los Angeles, with the president of the California Tax Limitation Committee, Mike Alexander, and America's funniest reporter, Carl Kozlowski.
Telephone number. Hey, Mike Alexander back with you. Jonathan, if people want to call, what number should they call?
Yeah, give us a call tonight. We want to hear from you. 866-870-5752.
Hey, now you two geniuses have been working on our government grifter of the week. Now, when are we doing that? At the end of the next hour, that is before 8:30. Shortly before 8:30.
Yeah, that sounds good. We've got a good one tonight.
You got a blockbuster.
Yeah, all the nominees come from San Francisco.
So you got to know that's going to be a real treat.
I know.
Yeah.
You guys shouldn't get any points for nominations out of that county.
I know. It's like shooting ducks in a barrel or whatever.
The tough part was narrowing it down.
I know. It's going to be fun. You guys will like that. Hey, we're going to talk about Sierra Madre meltdown over the city council. But before we do, I want to wrap up one caller from the last segment. Linda from Burbank would like to talk to us about the Attorney General's conditions for illegal aliens. Are you there, Linda? Line 3.
Yes. I want to add, in addition to Attorney General Sessions' lawsuit against California's sanctuary state law, I hope Sessions makes it that illegal aliens cannot sue anywhere, anyone, anytime, at all.
Mm-hmm. Very interesting. Yeah, there's a concept in corporate law when your corporate powers are suspended, you are unable to prosecute or defend a lawsuit. All you can really do is pay taxes. And then get your ability to operate back again. It's a novel concept. I agree with you. On the other hand, Linda, if we could get that done, then we would have the political capital and wherewithal to deal with the problem in the first instance. So, I thoroughly agree with you. And the best way to make sure that they don't sue is that no one who is not legally here should be sent back to where they came from, period. We just need to deal with that problem and restore the rule of law. And one of the huge problems that we have is that our society has become increasingly lawless. And this lawlessness pervades the judiciary, it pervades government itself, and of course, the people that we're bringing here from other countries who are supposed to be such a great addition to our country come here violating the law to begin with. It's not a good place to start to become a member of a society that prides itself on being a government of laws and not of men. Linda, thanks very much for your contribution and for listening in. And call back sometime again in the future. We'd love to hear from you. I now want to move on to the city of Sierra Madre. As those of you who have been listening know, the California Tax Limitation Committee, of which I'm president and which folks here are members of and operators of, helped to work with citizens in Sierra Madre to put on the ballot there an initiative, a local initiative, to repeal their obnoxious utility users tax. Now, utility users tax is a tax that taxes, obviously, communications, your internet, your gas bill, your electric bill, your water bill. The cities, the bills that the cities send out to you, which are high enough already, are taxed again to the tune. I think there may be at about 10% over there. Doesn't make any difference, but they're in a small city with I don't know how many people they've got over there.
11,000.
11,000.
Yeah,
Okay.
11,000. Only one stoplight, so that tells you
11,000, one stoplight, and these people managed to jack $2.6 million out of the population there in utility taxes. So there were a lot of people in Sierra Madre who wanted to repeal that tax. But the problem wasn't per se the tax or the revenues. The problem was that the city itself was not well managed and had run up incredible pension debt over there. This city would generate surpluses, fail to pay down its pension debt, declare bonuses, hire more of themselves, pass out raises, more benefits, and so forth, and end up behind the eight ball. Well, a lot of people have been calling attention to this pension bomb, both in Sierra Madre as well as other cities in the San Gabriel Valley that we've worked with. It is the top problem in the state of California. So this repeal is coming up on the ballot. It'll be there, I think it's, the 8th?
April 10th.
April 10th, this Tuesday, April 10th. First Tuesday after the first Monday or whatever they do, second Tuesday, these guys are having an election over there. But the absentee ballots, the vote-by-mail ballots, are going to be going out about a week from now. And we are going to have a special election edition on Sierra Madre and have some special guests in here to talk to us about this. But these guys must be really getting nervous because we were advised just yesterday that the city council has requested an analysis from the city attorney, and the purpose of that analysis is to explore the impact of the $2.6 million repeal and possibly, what do they call it, unincorporate or disincorporate?
To disincorporate the city.
It's a very interesting phrase I've never seen before.
I got a call on this last night, and I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
I thought there must be something wrong.
Yeah.
The city of Sierra Madre is considering disincorporating by the possibility of losing $2.5 million.
Right. That's it.
How is that, Mike?
Yeah. Well, let's talk about it. Here's their introduction and executive summary. I wonder how much this costs. At any rate, Measure D, Stop the Utility Users Tax Initiative, will be submitted to the voters on April 12, 2018. 12th?
No,
I thought it was
I
at 10.
think they have it wrong. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, well,
I think that's a typo.
Yeah.
So it shows you just how put together they are.
Yeah,
well, maybe we can give them the wrong date, and then they don't. Then they ignore the vote.
They don't even know when the election is.
All right. Yeah.
Well, that's an old dirty Democrat trick, make sure you vote on the second Tuesday of November.
Vote on Wednesday.
Yeah.
The utility users tax, otherwise known as the UUT, was approved by 72% of Sierra Madre voters in 2016. Now, that's wrong. That's wrong. It was 72% of the people who voted. It was a very low turnout vote, and they won by a few votes. So they're trying already to create the illusion that this UUT has wide support in the city of Sierra Madre. I assure you that it doesn't. There's an interesting history to it that I won't go into right now, but next week we will. This UUT provides approximately $2.6 million to the general fund, comprising 24% of all general fund revenues. As discussed in the city's recent fiscal impact report, authorized by Elections Code Section 9212. Losing $2.6 million would require the city to make budget cuts. Yeah, it would. Of this amount to all general fund departments, including, of course, organ music, sound of crying and screaming in the background, police services, fire, paramedic services. Can you see Towering Inferno? Steve McQueen here.
It's amazing.
Paramedic services, library, and community services, resulting in a corresponding loss of services.
It's an amazing document. I just posted it on our website, Mike. So
yes,
if you want to follow along with this agenda report from the city of Sierra Madre, go to our website at catlc.net, and it's right there on the main page.
That's a town that's known for scary things along over the years, because they also were the home of Invasion of the Body Snatchers. So right now they're after Invasion of the Wallet Snatchers.
Oh yeah, that's these people. Now let's go to something else that you don't know. And once again, I hate doing numbers over here, but it's really all about the numbers. That's why we're here, because this whole darn thing is out of control, ladies and gentlemen. Now, what did they just say? Wholly aside from the criticisms that that can be made, that is that they're going to punish the citizens rather than themselves. They're going to shut the city down if you don't pay them all of their high salaries, if you don't pay them especially their pensions. But what they really, really admitted here, folks, and I want you to pay close attention, was if they, for any reason, come up $2.5 million short, the city's out of business. I'm going to repeat that. What they're really saying is, if for any reason, whether it's the loss of the UUT or rising bills, if for any reason we come up $2.5 million short, this city is out of business. Slap a toe tag on us. We're done. All right?
Amazing.
Well, I'm going to talk to you. We got a break coming up here in a minute, but after the break, I'm going to go over those pension numbers, and I'm going to show you how that city is upside down, somewhere between 10 million and 40 million right now. They're already dead. And this $2.6 million is just a bus stop on the way to hell. We'll be back on the other side. Give us a call, 866-870-5752.
If you like what you're hearing and would like to support Radio Free Los Angeles and the California Tax Limitation Committee, please call area code 626-792-1772, 626-792-1772, or kindly visit our website, catlc.net, catlc.net. You can also watch Radio Free Los Angeles on Facebook Live at radiofreela.us.
If you'd like to talk with Radio Free Los Angeles, the phone lines are wide open. 866-870-KRLA. That's 866-870-5752. We're live, local, and here to talk with you. 866-870-KRLA.
That is for county control, or?
I don't think we got into that yet.
Okay.
All right, Mike Alexander, Jonathan Wilson, and Carl Kozlowski.
Hello.
Back with you here. We're talking and continuing our discussion here regarding the Sierra Madre municipal election coming up here shortly. It's on April 10th, Tuesday, not the 12th. At least I'm pretty sure. These people, there's a lot of things they don't do well out there, and apparently keeping track of a calendar is hard. But in any event, I want to get back to what these guys really know. My closing comment was very simple. When these guys are saying, if we lose this $2.6 million in revenue, then we have to shut the city down and become part of the county. You can read the practical implications on that. I don't want to spend a lot of time on their stupid memo that's designed to scare people. The reason that everybody needs to be scared is because of the pension bomb. There's lots of ways that you can come up $2.5 million short, And the major way is if you have to pay your bill. Now, we have circulated, and if it's not up on our website, we'll put it up there so that you can see a summary from transparentcalifornia.com that summarizes the pension obligations that the city of Sierra Madre has. Now, they're carrying a $10 million underfunding. That is, they owe CalPERS, the state, the California Pension and Retirement System, $10 million. But as a matter of fact, what they actually owe to their current and retired employees, they've calculated at $71 million. Now, the city of Sierra Madre doesn't have $71 million. It does have about $31 million in assets, that is cash and securities, that are up there at CalPERS, but that leaves them about $40 million short of what they need. Now, they'll tell you, they say, well, those assets we have, they're going to generate interest over time. And in fact, those CalPERS people are so good that they're going to get us 7 or 7.5% every year for the next 30 years. Hey, hint, wake up out there, attention Mars, that ain't going to happen. They're not going to get those returns. Nobody is promising those returns, but the government is promising it to themselves. Right now, they are $10 million short of meeting their pension obligations, even with those screwy assumptions, even believing the fantasy number $7 million. They're upside down $10 million. And as a matter of fact, if you use more reasonable assumptions, that is, assume that those investments are going to generate 3.25 or maybe 3.5 or 4%, then they're actually upside down somewhere between 30 and 40 million. Now, did you track that? They don't have it. And hey, city attorney, that clown car full of the city councilman out there, pay attention. You don't have a $2.6 million problem. You've got yourself a $40 million problem.
Ouch.
And CalPERS has been jacking up every year the amount of money that you're going to have to increase your payments by. Right now, that whole city is being run by and for the exclusive benefit of current and retired public employees. That's it. And if CalPERS says, hey, look, CalPERS is going to wake up. They already have, and they're starting to jack up their contributions. They're starting to tell these cities, hey, look, we don't have enough money from you. With the amount of money, the $30 million in assets that we have are not enough to grow to meet those obligations over the next 20 or 30 years, right? It's just not going to happen. And if those contributions go up $2 or $3 million, what's going to happen? Jonathan Wilson.
They're going to go bankrupt.
Well, yeah, we have it.
They can't even cover it now, right?
We have it. I no less an authority than Teresa Highsmith, the city attorney. She says, if for any reason we come up short $2.5 million, we're dead. That's just what they said. If they lose the tax revenue here, they're dead. They're going to have to talk about moving over to the county. Well, Teresa, what you just says, the $2.5 million, it's not the reason that you lose it. And if your expenses go up $2.5 million, you're not going to be able to meet that capital call. You're just not going to. And that's what all these cities are on track for. And there's many cities in the state of California that are now looking at having to become insolvent. And here they're talking about, and here's what I really don't understand. I didn't read the whole memo, and their law firm out there is highly regarded. They've written a decent memo here. I don't quarrel with her legal interpretations. It's just that she's done us a favor of identifying just what that number is. $2.5 million. You run $2.5 million. You owe it to the leg breakers up there at CalPERS, and they're going to shut your city down. Now, there's another thing, too. If you try to exit the CalPERS system, guess what the exit number is to get out of CalPERS for the city?
What is it?
bum, dee, dee, dum, ba-da. Is it 2.6 million?
No.
Is it 10 million?
40.
Ah, yes, it's closer to $40 million.
Well, that's what I found interesting about their little agenda report, is that they made very clear that whether the city disincorporates or not, those pension liabilities are going to be covered by those residents.
Oh yes. Yeah, right.
Whether it takes selling their assets in Sierra Madre, they're still on the hook for it.
That's correct. Yeah. And what they really are saying here, and they hired a city attorney here, paid that law firm plenty of money to come back with this proposal, but never once did they even think for a minute about cutting people, cutting salaries, and going over to a different type of pension system. It is astonishing. It is irking. It is outrageous that they would suggest shutting the city down before they address any of these problems. It is amazing. Now,
I mean, I don't live in Sierra Madre. That's my goal to someday live in Sierra Madre.
It's my dream town too.
But if I lived in Sierra Madre and I read this, I would be fighting mad.
Yeah.
Fighting mad.
And now why, under these circumstances? It's designed to persuade voters not to exert control over this. Now, if you go to our website, I think somewhere along the line, we uploaded our balance statement, their response, and then our rebuttal. And remember last week when we talked about it, when they came back, all they talked about was, reduced fire services, this and that. They didn't put in the unincorporation, but you can bet there's going to be a special memo that's going to go out this week, just in time for the ballots. They'll call it voter information, right? Yeah. Not electioneering, not illegal electioneering or tampering. No, they'll call this voter information, and it's going to go home. In the go home packages probably for all the kids at the local school. Now the only good news is that they probably don't read too well, so that's no harm's going to come from that.
Yeah, they've got this propaganda in full mode right now. Now my question is, Mike, is these city council members don't seem to be representing the interest of residents. Who are they representing?
Well, my personal, I don't know any of these people personally. Yeah. Okay, so I don't want to make any remarks. As a class, city council people, as a whole, dwell at the very edges of the gene pool. These are not very bright people. They're reasonably successful in their businesses. They have a smile, a gift for gab, and they like to be the man or the woman about town. And maybe it's occasionally good for one's career or intended to burnish one's pro bono credentials or some such nonsense. But what happens is that they go into these cities, and they're sitting basically as a board of directors. And when they sit there, they're thinking about keeping the city operating. And 90% of their agenda that's coming there is about feeding the beast. So they sit there and they take the data feed from the city mismanager, right?
Okay.
So right in those council meetings, if you go to one, I suggest that you eat afterwards, because you'll probably lose your lunch if you have to sit there and listen to all of that nonsense. But you've got a bailiff, a couple of cops in there to keep the peace. That is, to keep the citizens away from their representatives and to enforce 5-minute talk limits. And then you've got a recorder, a secretary. You've got the 4 or 5 dwarves sitting up there on the dais, and then over to the right, they have the city mismanager. And every time they have a question, the city mismanager pops up with the data, right?
Okay.
I'm serious.
Yeah.
You go there, and they thank each other. and give each other little awards and recognize people and call up Girl Scouts and so forth, but they never really pay attention to the money. Now, you've asked the $64,000 question, or I should say the $2.6 million question, and I will continue to answer it on the other side of the hour. And if anybody has questions about this, wants to see further comment, please call us at 866-870-5752.
Come in, Southern California. This is Radio Free Los Angeles. Do you copy? Repeat, do you copy?
Now broadcasting from behind the Iron Curtain in the People's Republic of California, we bring you the voice of free men, free markets, and limited constitutional government. Welcome to citizen-sponsored Radio Free Los Angeles, with the president of the California Tax Limitation Committee, Mike Alexander, and America's funniest reporter, Carl Kozlowski.
Hello.
Ba-bum. All right, here. Singing along with the music, having a good time here. By the way, if we really need your help, this is not only free men, free markets, and it is also citizen-sponsored radio. So please go to radiofreelosangeles.net. That's all spelled out. radiofreelosangeles.net. There's a contribute button there. Help to keep the show on the air. You know, I want to comment here for just a second. When we're talking about illegal immigration, that's a real hot button issue, and our phone lights up. When I start talking about numbers, which are the essence of the illegal immigration problem, right? Illegal immigration is a problem because of what it costs. And government is at the heart of what it costs. These people are in charge of everything. Please don't turn to another station or doze off or shut this out of your brain. They are counting on it. The people that run government are counting on the fact that you don't pay attention. They're counting on the fact that very few people are going to show up to vote. We will be working at the California Tax Limitation Committee to help get out the vote. We've got a lot of good stuff going on. We're going to push back at this outrage where they decide to punish the taxpayer rather than to solve some of their problems. And all you have to do and know about their problems, I'm going to go on to our other subject in a minute. But when you look at what we've previously published, you've got a city of 10,000 people, 3 square miles, and the city manager has total annual pay and benefits of $234,000, right? And you got to shut the city down rather than put this gal's job out to bed. That's what a public safety director. I don't know who that is, whether it's a cop or somebody, some badgeless, toothless dog. Maybe it's a canine squad, but it's $194,000 a year. Really, can't we bring any of these salaries down?
I mean, has anybody seen Sierra Madre? I mean, if you don't know this town, there's what on earth is possibly the threat to public safety?
It's a crime center, don't you know? Right. Yeah. I mean, there are no problems. I mean, you're the biggest problem that you have there is probably heart attacks. Yeah. But one of these days we're going to talk about work rules and why it's so expensive to get paramedics out there because they send a fire truck and 2 paramedics. So of course the cost of getting Granny off of the ground is outrageous, and they'll have to shut that down. And then, of course, they say, well, no matter what, we're still going to be facing those pensions. Well, let's talk about those pensions for a few minutes. We've got some retirees in the city of Sierra Madre. Here's one of their top recipients, James C. Zurcher.
Names? Oh my God.
Zurcher. Well, this is right up there on pensiontracker.org. Look him up. He retired in 1993. So this guy's been retired for 25 years. And guess what he makes each year in total pension and benefits, $114,888.
What was his position? Do we know?
We can't tell, but hey, Jim, call us. Let us know what you did for that kind of money, all right? Charles Martin. This guy retired in 1985.
Oh my
right,
God.
85. Unbelievable. Years of service. How do you like what they call service? Anyway, 29.3 years. He was employed by them, and he currently gets a pension of $106,835.
Oh my
so,
God!
So he's been getting this with these escalators all this time, and Ms. Highsmith, your recommendation is to shut the city down. It's not a bad idea.
Be ashamed of themselves.
Yeah, I mean the whole thing ought to be shut down, but it's going to shut down. That's the problem here. Here's another guy. Let's go back some oldies but goldies. Here's a guy, Christopher Christensen, retired in 1998. By the way, if any of this is wrong, call me. I'm taking off of public records. If you're actually getting more money, call us. Yeah, we don't want to ruin your reputation here. But here's a guy who's been retired since 1998, and he's currently getting $50,000 a year, $51,637. There's another gal, Margaret Duran, retired in 1998, been retired 20 years, and she's currently picking up $38,991. This is the problem. You can't pay those things. Private sector doesn't pay that kind of money, and this is why you're broke. So they pay cops and firemen outrageous salaries. They don't have good work rules. They don't do anything to make it more competitive. They put a gun to your head. They lie to you. They hustle you, and the whole damn thing is a fraud, a hustle, and a con. We're going to come back more to that next week, and we're not going to leave this. And I hope that someone's going to go to catlc.net, California Tax Limitation Committee. Go there and contribute and volunteer. Everybody needs to get out there because, believe me, their view is that someday, if the city of Sierra Madre can't actually pay all their pension obligations, and hey, red alert, beep, 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 beep. These pension plans cannot be paid. They're looking to the state of California to bail them out or the feds. So there's nothing local about Sierra Madre. There's nothing small about it. That's your bill ultimately. That's their idea. Believe me, it's going. Now, how is it that you make such a massive fraud, hustle, and a con work, right? It requires the willing suspension of belief, right? Isn't that the secret to Hollywood? They run pictures up there that aren't real and images. By the way, I'm a big movie fan too. There's nothing better than a good movie. Love it a lot. And the people work in Hollywood, whatever their sins, errors, and omissions, and there are many, just like every industry, but what they do better than anyone else in the whole world, True. Bar none. You can talk to me about these Italian art movie makers and the French and Francois Truffaut, whatever. My frog isn't too good tonight. And some of the great Swedish filmmakers, but nobody makes movie like Hollywood. And there's this magical ability to get you to suspend your belief and believe that there's real people up there doing real things, and that rock is really going to fall on the hero. Or the innocent person is going to be run through and their head blown off, whatever. It's an amazing thing. That doesn't work so well. Movies don't work so well in real life. It takes a lot more than a couple of movies to get people to go along with the program. In the modern welfare state, this modern apparatus that we call government requires a handmaiden. It requires somebody to do the daily heavy lifting of persuading citizens to deny their senses. That is, to willingly suspend their common sense and their sense of disbelief to buy into this whole fantasy. And the institution in our society that facilitates that is the public so-called school, so-called system. And it is a massive undertaking nationwide. I don't know how much is spent on this thing called education, which begs the question whether any real education goes on in any significant quantity. Nobody really knows. But this apparatus here in the state of California, by constitutional amendment here several years ago, soaks up 45 to 50% of the state budget. 45 to 50%. All right, now, here a few years ago, our budget was 180. I don't even know what it is for this year, but that means that amount of money mandatorily, automatically goes to the public so-called school system, right into their business. So, when you look at government incorporated, there's no subsidiary that is largest. The military is smaller than the school system. School system is much larger, sucks up a much larger portion of our time, money, and resources. We'll talk more about it on the other side. Call us and share your thoughts at 866-870-5752.
If you like what you're hearing and would like to support Radio Free Los Angeles and the California Tax Limitation Committee, please call area code 626-792-1772, 626-792-1772, or kindly visit our website, catlc.net, catlc.net. You can also watch Radio Free Los Angeles on Facebook Live at radiofreela.us.
If you'd like to talk with Radio Free Los Angeles, the phone lines are wide open. 866-870-KRLA. That's 866-870-5752. We're live, local, and here to talk with you. 866-870-KRLA.
All right, I love that patent theme. That's fun. Let's get at the enemy here. We know who they are. They're the bureaucrats who are in various states of sobriety tonight, but not worried about tomorrow morning. They're called in sick or take it as it goes, because there's no real punishment for showing up half drunk or half stupid. That's what they get paid for, it appears. And the massive fraud, hustle, and con that is being perpetrated on the American people is just amazing, and you can rely upon them. And I want to return. Boy, the time slips away. We're going to get into our Government Grifter of the Week awards here, but before we do, I just want to finish up a little bit, recommending to you a couple of great books on the subject of schooling. You remember I mentioned earlier in our program tonight that the mandatory universal education, that is the system under which the government demands that you school your child. They grab your kid, they grab your money, and they put them in a school, and they teach them what they want them to know. That system was highly unusual, unprecedented. It's only a little over 100 years old. Mandatory schooling only began towards the end of the 19th century. It really caught hold, and now, of course, this idea of education, which started off as an innocent sort of notion of equipping people for democracy, has been perverted into something else quite different. As a matter of fact, it was designed by government, by progressives, and by people who ran industry who knew that they're going to need people of a certain mindset, of a certain inclination, of a certain willingness to participate in the economy. Nobody has broken this fallacy down better than John Taylor Gatto, and I really want to recommend his book to you. It's called The Underground History of American Education. He himself was a prize-winning teacher in New York. This guy's been through it. You want to look at his book, one of the books that I read many, many years ago is even more compelling, and it is a critique from the left. It is a critique of the public so-called school system from the perspective of, I would say, a communist with a small c, at least socialist or collectivist, but even there, applying this label to Ivan Illich. He was a priest. I never figured out whether he was a Jesuit or not, but he was a very, very revolutionary guy, and he wrote a book called De-Schooling Society, in which he unpacks what school is. He unpacks credentialism, and credentialism is ruining our country. It's many people have talked about how our highest offices here on the Supreme Court, in government, and several other senior positions seem to be dominated by a certain group of people that attended a very narrow number of schools. It is astonishing to think that we had that our country was founded and led by a number of people, very few of whom have gone to college, much less graduated. There were some, of course. I know that, so don't send me cards and letters. But schooling, Ivy League educations were not the norm, certainly in revolutionary America, and did not really become the filter, the source of credentialism until recently. And even now, it's not unusual to hear people talk about, say, Bill Clinton and later Obama, but there are others as well, how smart or dumb they were, how well or how poorly they did in school, their SATs, their academic credentials. Well, Ivan Illich would point out to this, say, well, that's fine and dandy, but how come it is that we organize our entire society around this? Has any of you ever stopped to think for a moment what it is that we're doing with this thing called school? We take people, we put them into school. Oh, we can't put them in early enough. Early childhood this, early childhood that. And we put people in these institutions for 25 years. For 25 years, people organize themselves around this idea called school. Now you're slapping on $100,000, $200,000 in debt for this joke. And to get out to do what? Maybe sell insurance, which they should have started to do. It could be a pretty good career. Or be a barista. Nothing wrong with being a barista. So why don't you just cut out the middleman, skip college and go down to a place and start pulling espresso. It's a perfectly good and honest job. There are many of them. Why this thing called school? What does this claim upon us? So these two guys, Ivan Illich and John Taylor Gatto, are worth listening to. And after you read them, I'm going to quote from them a little bit here, write a few articles for you folks out there. But after you read these books, I hope that you will consider our educational system in a new light and work with us to launch school choice here in California. It's clear that we need true diversity in our educational system. We need to get the parents back involved in it. We need true market competition. We need viable, better economic alternatives that will permit parents and students to shape their future rather than to be part of the latest communist 5-year program. Do you ever notice how whenever these schools fail, they come back and they start sounding like Khrushchev or Brezhnev and Stalin and all the rest? It says, yes, I know these things are not working, but in 5 years they will work better. And in the meantime, shut up. Shut up, we will tell you when. Yeah, shut up, pay up, but mostly shut up.
What have you done with Michael? You sound so terrifying.
Yeah, I know. It sounds, you probably had a teacher like that. But, Niha, right. Right. So, at any rate, hey, how much time we got to go before a break here, Sullivan? Oh, we got 7 minutes. All right, look. You guys have heard enough of my bombastic preaching here tonight on various subjects. I'm sorry some of you didn't call in because there's good stuff here. We're going to cover more in the future. But right now we want to go to one of our favorite segments, which is Government Grifter of the Week.
And now, live from Glendale, California, it's this week's Government Grifter Awards. And presenting the awards this week is America's funniest reporter, Carl Kozlowski. Take it away, Carl.
Yes, I'm wearing Target fashions. So here we are this week. We're focusing on San Francisco County. And so, there's such waste going on up in San Francisco. They're known for it. I think San Francisco means, government waste in Spanish, perhaps, or probably not. Actually, St. Francis Bay. So this week, I found a top 10 list of the most ridiculous jobs and salaries that you can find in San Francisco County. I'm starting with number 10, dental aid. So if you need to get your pearly whites taken care of and you just don't have time to leave the office, San Francisco will send a dental aid straight to you for $107,893.
Wow. And that's just the aid, right?
And that's just to get you to, flush your mouth out and spit. I mean, come on.
And you got to wonder, what in the world do they do? Are they doing hiring a dental aid for what freaking purpose?
Yeah, that's very interesting.
Right. Maybe
there's no dentist. There's just dental aid.
Well, maybe there's a dental aid at the city hall.
It must.
If they have an accident,
it must be the county jail. Yeah, but there's one on there. There's one on there. There's one entry, Carl. I saw it earlier for a beautician.
Yeah, so that's number 7.
Right.
Allow me to build.
That's got to be at the county morgue. Maybe.
Yeah, I know.
Number 9, I have cable splicer. I think that's what I used to do when I stole my neighbor's cable before I got Netflix. $200,962 if you want to splice cable for a living. I don't even know what that means.
How much?
$200,962.
Splice cable.
Unbelievable.
Cable. Number 8, car and auto painter for $186,973. Whatever happened to a good Earl Scheib job for $29.95?
I know.
Wait, what kind of painter?
Car and auto painter. There's two different. I guess a car and an auto aren't the same thing, so they have to make it. So it's not enough to say car painter. They have to make it sound like, ooh, you're doing twice the work to justify your $186,973 painting salary.
Now, bear in mind, folks, here, not to interrupt their spiel, but that's just what they're making now, and they can earn up to 90% of that in retirement. All right? You wonder why we're
This is a disaster.
And let's hope that some of them live so long that they get 25, 31 years of it.
All right.
So then number 7 is Mike's favorite, beautician. If you want to put lipstick on the pig of government, you can make $96,663. That's a relatively, slim salary there.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah. So
what are they doing with a beautician there? Unbelievable.
I know. It's like, Nancy Pelosi needs a lot of work.
Oh, man, does she?
Well, Gavin Newsom definitely looks like he uses a beautician.
Yeah. Oh, Gavin Newsom.
So maybe that's his personal beautician.
Must be, yeah.
He's never got a hair out of place.
He's pretty.
Yes. Number 6.
He needs to be in San Francisco.
Number 6, this is a really good one, museum guard. So for standing around staring at school kids all day to make sure that they don't touch the nude statues, you get paid $121,496.
Oh, my God. For staring at dinosaurs. Well, that would be the city council.
Yes. Number 5, custodian. You get $129,639. Do you remember when your mom used to say, now stay in school or you'll wind up a janitor? Well, Mom, come on. Now that's a career move.
Hell yes.
So, and then number 4 is soft floor coverer. I'm not even sure what that is. $129,240 if you want your soft floors covered. So
it's amazing.
Yeah, then we've got the final 3. Number 3, pile worker. Pile of what? I don't know, but they're going to work a pile. You can insert your own imagination.
This is proctology or
I know, right?
Or construction.
$152,107 if you want somebody to work on your pile.
All right.
And then
last.
Number 2, the stable attendant, $114,867. Makes you wonder what they get for being unstable.
No, okay, now what? This is a stable attendant. How much is that per year?
$114,867.
All right. Now, it may be cleaning up a lot of horse dung at city council. That may be the one guy in city government that's actually earning his salary.
Yes. And number 1, not the highest salary, but it seems like the most ridiculous job, supply room attendant.
Hey-o.
So if you need to hand out toilet paper, $87,695.
Oh, my God. All right. Now, I hope you guys don't want points. for coming up with Government Grifter of the Week out of San Francisco. I mean, this is too easy. Yes. You two ought to be ashamed of yourself. All right, what's the final order here?
Oh, that was number one, but let me see. I had an honorable mention I meant to point out.
We have drums.
Oh, dear God.
And the winner?
Wait. Well, I'd say the winner. I would say it has to be
on the envelope. He's having a hard time opening the envelope.
I'm going to give it to the car and auto painter because it's $186,973 just to throw paint around.
All right.
Congratulations, Car and Auto Painter. This is Car and Auto Painter's first nomination and first Government Grifter Award.
Yes. Amazing. All right. Now, we want to be fair to everybody. So, if you are one of these people, we want you to call us because we want to know what you do for that kind of money. All right, and that's the story. You know, we wrap up with this story here every week. I want you to go back to the beginning. Remember, they're running a very successful business. They steal money at an incredible rate, and their whole operating philosophy is, never drop the con. And when you get caught, when you get busted, and everybody's onto you,
then don't drop the soap.
Then you really, really don't drop the con. You keep it going. Hey, we want to thank all of you folks for listening in here tonight. Go to radiofreelosangeles.net. Give us a contribution. Let us know what you like, what you don't like. And please be with us next week. Thank you, Carl. Thank you, Jonathan. See you on the other side.
Thank you, guys.